Speak is taking a road trip, family. We are going to be in Boulder this Friday ahead of Colorado's huge matchup versus USC. Now, we will have special guests, so you do not want to miss it. Audience check-in. We want y'all there, family. Audience check-in between 9 and 10 a.m. Mountain Time at Farron Field. Y'all better come through. We will be there. All right, let's move it along. It is third topic of the day. The Colorado, they took an L, and it was not a pretty one in Eugene. Bo Nix, he went off. The Ducks, they went off. The coach, they went off. Deion Sanders said the result was a, quote, good old-fashioned butt kicking. The loss also means that Colorado is out of the top 25. They've been in the rankings for the last several weeks. Shady, what does the blowout loss say about Colorado? Because we've been on the prime train this whole time. We've been on this bandwagon. That means that they're not a national champion contender. Yeah. That's what that means, right? They're 3-1, still a good team, and they're not there yet. If you recall, Coach Prime said that, hey, you know, we're close, but we're not there. We need some guys in the trenches. That's on offense of linemen, some defensive linemen. That's the biggest difference. Whenever you have a team that rushes for 240 yards, 6 yards a carry, that's a great day for the offense. But that means the defensive line are not getting pushed. They're getting pushed around from the line of scrimmage. That's all that means, because guess what? I still believe, right? And I'm still got my hand up and rocking out. The reason why is this, because now every team, or not every team, but every player, especially the top recruits in the country, they want to play for Prime. They see the way he's changed. People forget. This team won one game last year. And they bring in one person that changed it all the way around. And then we start talking about this team as if they're a championship contender, which they're not yet. But that's the type of impact that Coach Prime has. So I'll tell you this. Like he said before, you better get him now.
Better get me now.
You know what I mean? Because if not, next year they coming. And the year after that, they're going to get better and better and better. And that comes with getting not only just star players and athletes, but guys up front. They get some offensive linemen, get Shador Sanders some real time back there, not let him get sacked. They get some guys up there to stop the run. They're going to be serious. And Oregon's coach made all them jokes and all that about all the Hollywood and all that.
We'll get there.
Because he don't want to see them once they get their boys.
He keep receipts.
I'm keeping receipts, too. I will say this, Shady, you're exactly right. The blowout loss means, number one, table the national championship expectations. I would also say table the Pac-12 expectations. Not literally, but if you turn on the tape, you see there are way too many flaws that can be exploited going forward by Utah, by Arizona State, by USC. Colorado, table those expectations. What it means for me is, Colorado, you got to get better. You have to get better yesterday. Not tomorrow, not next week. You have to get better yesterday, because it does not get any easier. You have USC. Y'all know what USC brings. After that, you have ASU. ASU was playing a close game versus USC last night. I'm watching the game. I'm broadcasting the game on Saturday night. So you have ASU. Then you have, later in the season, Utah. You have a whole bunch more dogs coming. You're not seeing Colorado State no more. You're not seeing Nebraska no more. Now it's time for the Pac-12 play, and this is the best that the Pac has ever been. So kudos and credit to Oregon. The analyst in me needs to stop down and say, Oregon gave them a good old-fashioned butt whooping. They outcoached them, they outplayed them, they outschemed them, they outperformed them, all of it. Oregon did what they needed to do. And if you're an Oregon Ducks fan, you landed a 5-star recruit after winning that game. So kudos to Oregon. I have to give them their credit. Colorado, however, they need to get better, because it only gets more difficult going forward.
And for me, I'm not surprised, because Prime told us this. Prime said, man, I'm bringing my Louis luggage, right? And that was a lot of skill players. And he told us, I got to get better in the trenches. He told us that. Now, kudos to Prime again, because he still has us all believing, but he had us forget how bad Colorado was. Like, I picked them to win this game, picking an upset. Shady picked them to win this game. Like, what he has done, he made us forget how bad they were last year winning one game, how bad of a football team that was. So I'm not really worried about this, because we know that Coach Prime is building over there, right? They ran into a really good football team in Oregon, and Oregon had something to prove and wanted something to prove. They didn't want to beat Shador, like Coach Prime said. They wanted to beat him. They wanted this Cinderella story to stop, and they went out there and they played like that. But this game was won in the trenches. Shador could not get the ball off. He was sacked plenty of times. They could not stop the run. If you cannot stop the run, you already know you ain't going to be able to stop the pass, because you're in trouble. And then you without your best player on the field in Travis Hunter. You know, it was a lot of one-on-one opportunities that they took in that ball game, and maybe Travis Hunter makes that play. But they are built outside in right now. They need to work on getting built inside out, and Prime will do that. But I'm not surprised by this. I'm not worried by this. I think Coach Prime will bounce back from this, and Colorado's in a really, really good situation. But like you said, Oregon, kudos to Oregon, because they let the world know that we are a national championship team, and we ain't even finna be playing with these boys. That's what they showed. That's what they showed.
It just means Colorado has more growth and more that they need to accomplish. It was an over-the-top loss, obviously, but Oregon has years on Colorado. So
exactly.
if you like that, then you should do that to Colorado. They were 21-point underdogs. I've picked them to upset. You did, Shady did. A lot of people did. And I don't think there's anything wrong with believing that you have the capability to go in there and win. Oregon just stepped up to the plate. But to Shady's point, Deion just got there. They don't have years of recruiting. They don't have 3-4-year guys that have been in that system and been in that building. And that he's built the entire program off of this year into the transfer portal. That's not actually how you build programs in college football. In the NFL, you can bring in 1 or 2 pieces and change the entire team. It's a different sport. So I don't think it really says anything about Colorado. This was always going to be a build-out situation. Yes, everyone got excited, as they should be, about what's happened in Colorado, and it was because of how bad they were last year.
No doubt.
So none of that's changed. I don't think it says much about Colorado, other than they're where they're supposed to be in the development process of this program as a whole.
Well, Oregon head coach Dan Lanning had a lot to say about Colorado before the game. It was heard by everybody around the sports world. Woo, woo, woo. Shady, Dan Lanning's pregame speech. Corny.
Yeah,
whoa. I liked it.
I'm gonna let you finish your question.
I liked it. Was it out of line?
Yeah, it was out of line. It was out of line. The thing is, Deion ain't going looking for no clicks. That's who he is. His personality and what he's did in the NFL and college gives you the clicks. People want to be around us because who he is. Deion's not acting. But you know what's funny about this coach, though? What's his name again?
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning? Yeah. Now, his first game against a big opponent. You know what that was like? 2 years ago?
Last year.
Oh, my man, last year. They played Georgia. You know what that score was? 49-3. I remember watching that. And I didn't see Kirby Smart saying nothing like that. He thanked the coach, and he walked off. See, the thing is with Colorado, they're not there yet. They're a big program now because of Coach Prime. Not because they've been that. Oregon's been a big program. They've been with Nike. Once Nike came there in Oregon, they started getting all these players, right? Made all this hype up. So now when you play elite team, 2 elite teams, you get beat 49-3 compared to Colorado, where one coach is getting his players from the portal, right? He didn't get to get his players yet. But when he will, we'll see how they meet up. And we'll see if he's talking about getting clickbaits and all that bull crap. Because I keep my receipts. That 49-3.
That's an interesting.
I like it, Shady. Get that up on him then, Shady.
He did also take that program over from Mario Cristobal.
Right.
You see what Miami's doing right now.
No doubt about it. I like the pregame speech. Like, the analyst in me loved the pregame speech. The friend and fan of Deion Sanders hated the pregame speech. Analyst in me loved it because you need to say what you need to say to your players to get them fired up in the locker room. Say what you need to say to them dudes. And if you are talking to your team in the locker room, he said all the right things. For substance. We talk with our shoulder pads. Keep in mind, Dan Lanning is a defensive coach. Dan Lanning was the defensive coordinator under Kirby Smart at Georgia. So that last year Oregon-Georgia game was one of them games. Dan Lanning is one of those coaches, and y'all know defensive coaches, or as the resident defensive player on the desk, I will say, defenders always feel forgotten. DCs feel forgotten. So you already given Colorado all of this hype. Everybody and their mama talking about Colorado for beating Colorado State in overtime. Meanwhile, Dan Lanning's sitting here like, we're the higher-ranked team. We're the better team. In Dan Lanning's mind, he's like, we got the better quarterback. We got the more talented roster. I'm the better coach. This is all in Dan Lanning's mind. Oh, yeah, they doing it for clicks. The game ain't played in Hollywood, and I get it. Because last week, The Rock was there. Lil Wayne was there. Next week, Joy Taylor there. Shady there. So I get if Dan Lanning wants to say they doing it for Hollywood, we going to do it on the grass. As an analyst, I loved it. As a Prime fan and Prime friend, I hated it.
I mean, he jealous dude.
Come on, man. Let's
Jealous guys.
Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100 while that speech was really like that, right? Kirby didn't have no speech like that because who knows Dan Lanning over there? He's coaching against Prime, man. He knows who is on the other side. They do not want to see Prime take over. Prime is in the middle of taking over college football. So if you have the opportunity to beat Prime's team and beat them like that, you are sending a statement like you ain't coming in here taking over nothing. And that right there was, to me, was the coach being insecure, right? Yes, you're trying to get your team fired up, but that's him being insecure because he knows who is on that other sideline. And that is who he is trying to beat. And he wanted to beat them in a dominant fashion strictly because, bro, we ain't talked about Georgia a lot.
At all.
We ain't talked about Oregon a lot.
At all.
We talk about SC because of Caleb Williams
No
a
doubt.
little bit. All eyes, win or lose. Big Noon is in Boulder this weekend. They just got blown out. All eyes is on Prime. These coaches don't like that. And they've been coaching for a minute, too, and been in college football for a minute, and then Prime hit the scene year one, and he getting all this attention. That is why and I feel like that was kind of an emotional speech
of truly
how he felt, but that's why he was saying that because of Prime on the other sideline, and he wants to beat Prime, and he don't want Prime to come in this thing taking over.
I don't think it was out of line because it was a pregame speech. And you say and get whatever bulletin board material you can to get your team fired up before. If he had said it in a press conference or how Jay Norvell did last week and said it in an interview, then I think it's out of line because this is really all about you. In a pregame setting, you trying to get everybody fired up.
But
you're
he had
say
a little
all kinds
bit of
of
that
crazy
in the
things.
pregame.
However, though, this is the issue, really what's happening. They don't want Prime to take over.
No question.
But everybody feels a little shaded because we're not talking about them.
Exactly.
This team's been good. This program's been good. We've been building for years. We've been competitive for years. Here comes Prime and wins 3 games, and all of a sudden they're the belle of the ball. So there's a little bit of jealousy. Why y'all not talking about us? The clicks thing is funny to me coming from Oregon, who got all the different colors and the shades and y'all would have clicked school forever, but okay, we'll move on from that. We'll move on from that. What's really happening here is it's when the smartest kid in school doesn't understand why they're also not the coolest. Well, you're not the coolest because you're not the coolest kid in school. You're the smartest kid in school. Now, sometimes the smartest kid in school is also the coolest kid in school, like the Miami Hurricanes, like USC. Y'all not the coolest kids in school. In fact, you're not even the smartest kid in school. You're the 10th smartest kid in school. Oregon, you're the 10th smartest kid in school. Georgia's the one that should be mad. Y'all not competing for a national championship right now, are you? There's 9 teams ahead of you that are closer to the national championship than you are. So what are you really even mad about? You're not even the smartest kid in school. I understand that there is a jealousy factor here. I understand there is an insecurity factor and a fear factor of Deion coming in and changing things. But both things can exist. Everybody can't go to Colorado. There's still other kids who are going to want to go to Oregon, who are going to want to go to USC, who are going to want to go to Georgia, who are going to want to go to Clemson and Texas and Miami and so on and so forth. There's enough talent to go around. This is really all about recruiting. And the best thing that you can do if you're Oregon is win like you won. Because you're not going to outflash Colorado.
No.
So don't get mad about it. Exist in the other space. The issue with these speeches that keep coming up is it's showing how insecure you are. Here's the thing. The people that are excited about Prime, the wave of attention that Prime is getting, you were never going to get that. That's not for you. It was never for you. You were never going to get that. This is fringe excitement. This is fans who haven't been paying attention to college football like that in a long time because the same team wins every single year. And this is a wave of attention that's good for the sport. And if you're mad you're not getting the attention, well, go be better.
Well, and that's why I love what Dan Lanning did. Because from a football perspective, like Joy said, oil and water, if you can't beat Prime in his own game, go the opposite way. He's saying, yo, they're flash. Cool. We're substance. That's why I like if I'm a recruit, you can't outflash Prime, like Joy's saying. So you know what? We're not even going to lean into that. I'm going to lean into we're a substantive program. I'm going to try to use Deion's flash against him. So then when it comes time to recruits, yeah, you can go there and you might be seen, but you're not going to win. That's why when I'm listening to Dan Lanning, I was like, that was a good chess move he did because all he's going to say is we're substance. We're rooted in substance. Like, I love what he did there because now it's like, all right, Deion, you got me beat. You got me beat. But now I'm going to try to use your hand against you. We will see if Colorado can get back on track.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.